Hey, how's it going, universe? Welcome to another episode of Zoobox Goes to the Movies. Oh my God, another one. We're gonna have two episodes this week. Did the one of the finest '80s films ever made, Cocktail. Yes, or today actually. So it'll be two today. But today, I mean, we had to talk about this. There's no choice. I don't have a choice.
And you did a good build up. You reviewed all of the other in the series,
Yeah, I've been
I
building
guess.
up all week up to the Snyder Cut here. We're gonna be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, as it is officially called. Directed by Zack Snyder, starring Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot,
Mm.
Jason Momoa, Ray
Mm.
Fisher, Ezra Miller, and others. It's written by Chris Terrio. So what does this say? Here's the description. Zack Snyder's definitive director's cut of Justice League. Determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. All right, that was a
Fair,
mouthful. That's a mouthful.
fair description. One, is this canon or is
That's the big
uh
question. That's the big
that
question moving forward. We'll get into that. We'll get into that whether or not this is canon. They've tipped their hat to say that this might be canon.
okay?
Um, I wish it was canon. If it's not, okay, let's
Well,
do like 10
yeah,
minutes spoiler free up front
spoiler free.
for a little
Okay,
bit, and then we'll get into things
right,
we like, things we didn't like in more specific terms.
sure.
So right off the bat, Dan, now you
Mm.
like tell me how do you feel about these movies in general? You've always been kind of lukewarm, so I thought it would be interesting to talk to
Well,
you about it. So
I've watched. I just recently watched within the last like month. I've watched Man of Steel, the director's cut of Batman v Superman. So I feel like I didn't hate them, but I wasn't in love with them. I thought
yeah,
they're pretty lukewarm. So for this, I definitely think this is better.
did you did you
I
did
liked it more than the Joss Whedon one.
did you like Man of Steel or BVS more now than you did like years ago when they came out? Do you think they've aged well?
Well, the director's cut of BVS, yeah, I think so. That's better than the theatrical cut.
Well, it's yeah, because it's clearly the movie that he made.
Well, I
Because
think
like there's things in the Ultimate Edition that just fill in those annoying
right,
holes. Like,
right, and that's
yeah,
what I'm saying. Like, I think the original, like when I first saw Man of Steel, I was like, it's okay, definitely better than Superman Returns. Yeah, like for sure.
yeah, 100%.
You know, like it's a good movie. It's got all the elements that you're looking for in a movie, in an action superhero movie. It was pretty well written. You know, like I had no qualms about it. I just didn't go out in the street screaming, "You have to see Man of Steel." You know, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not the master to me. You know,
No, obviously not. Some people, for some people, it is though. I
I
mean,
mean, Man of
people.
Steel. It's a good movie though. It's good.
I like it more now than when I saw it years ago. I mean, it still has this whole version of Superman has one fatal flaw to me, and it's I've never changed my mind. It's that the Kents are awful parents. And to me, what actually makes Superman so exceptional is that he had good parents.
Yeah,
Like
but why?
that's
What makes you say awful?
dude, Jonathan Kent and Man of
Yeah.
Steel literally goes to a young Clark Kent who has just saved a bus full of children from drowning and says, maybe you should have let him die.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fair,
No,
but also,
it's
but okay, put yourself as a father, like
no,
in that position, like
yes,
you know that your son could be ripped away from you if anyone ever found out, and he could be,
yes.
you know, like that's a realistic. I think
No,
that's
and
more human.
I
That's
think
like that
it's
shows the confliction, you know,
the grounded nature of what Zack Snyder's trying to do. He's trying to
more
present
realistic.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's trying to present this idea like what if gods walked among us, like what would we do? How would people react? And he
yeah.
knows that Clark would be a test baby if anybody ever found out, right?
If
Like
they could fucking keep the
if they
kid.
could get him, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Actually, that probably would have been a more interesting story arc, maybe, of him having to go on the run as like a 6-year old and like fend for himself and like, you know, whatever.
Well, we've all seen Smallville. We know what
Yeah,
happened.
okay. Well, I can understand that your criticism. I mean, I think it's the best on-screen representation of his parents
Oh,
as far as like even though Jonathan is not in it much.
I think actually the Smallville parents, the Smallville Kents are pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're pretty good.
When was the last time you went back and watched that show, dude?
Oh, dude, it's been a long
honestly
time.
though, because you know what? This is not about Smallville, but I will say I've seen every episode. I remember we were 3 or 4 because we didn't have, or we didn't watch it on TV, but our father we
bought the box sets when they would come out.
Well, he got like the first 2 seasons or something on DVD back in the day, and I kind of fell in love with it, you know?
Yeah, and then every year we would buy the new season. We wouldn't watch it on TV, but we would buy the season and literally watch it in a weekend.
And then you would go back and watch the first again or whatever.
So we were ready for a 4-hour superhero movie. We were acclimated to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Will I say, you know, this movie, did it feel long at parts, but I think there are a lot of just drawn out scenes like that don't really have, like in the beginning, you know, it's like fucking, you know, there's stuff going on. Obviously we can't do spoilers and stuff, but Bruce Wayne's walking for a minute and you're like, okay, like they're setting it up. Which this movie I think plays better than the Joss Whedon one, just as far as I feel like I went through a whole story. Like I got every part, and I enjoyed that a lot about this, because, and that's something that is really hard to do with, we saw Man of Steel may be different, but Batman v Superman, the difference between the theatrical and the director's cut, it does have all that exposition and all that, like just that talks between people that flesh out the characters and makes you understand why they're in the position they are or whatever.
It makes the movie actually flow better. Like it doesn't feel as clunky as the theatrical one feels long and clunky of BVS, but the 3-hour one actually feels like a quicker sit because it just makes more sense and you can engage with the material more clearly, you know? So you thought it was like, out of 10 stars, what do you give Justice League?
I was sitting anywhere between like 7.5 to 8, 7 to 8, like somewhere in there. It's kind of, I tried watching it again. And it does lose its luster, I think, on the second round, just because it is exciting to go, because it was such an interesting experiment, I think, for Warner Brothers to do. Because I read a little bit about it online. They said it was about 90% finished when Zack Snyder left the project, as far as, you know, what they shot. And then I think they had spent 260 or 270 million.
They dumped another 150 when Whedon came on to do reshoots.
No, well, that's not what I read. Did not say that. It said did. It said that they were wanting to do 10 million for reshoots or whatever, and it ended up costing them 30.
Oh, okay. That's
what I read. Well, and then this new one, the new Zack Snyder, cost them another 70 million.
Yeah, which for them, I think that because they already had the material, and because this only exists because of HBO Max, it could not exist in any other format. Like you could not have released a 4-hour Justice League movie in a movie theater. Even Zack Snyder would have had to cut this movie down. Like he would have had to made a 3-hour movie at max, and Warner Brothers did not want that. They wanted a 2-hour movie. Yeah. But I was like, after watching this, I was like, Zack Snyder would have been in some fucking trouble if you tried to cut this into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on, and there's so many plot points. There's so many characters have to be introduced. And
I guess that's the disappointing part of, you know, cinema, that as we're evolving, I think long form content is becoming king. And I think, you know, because this movie, Warner Brothers wanted to put it out episodically at one point. They were trying to convince them to do it. And obviously
well, apparently there's so many rumors of behind the scenes stuff. There's a lot of internal bullshit over at Warner Brothers. The people that run DC and stuff did not ever want this to see the light of day.
Why?
They just had bad juju.
Because of canon?
They just had bad feelings, I guess, with Snyder about how it ended, and because they basically fucked Snyder over. They openly fucked him over. They made him change his vision to begin with, because this Justice League is already a compromised version. Even the 4-hour cut, like, that's not what the original plan was. And then they had babysitters on set to watch him, to make sure he was doing something that they wanted.
Whoa. So like this being his original vision has already been compromised.
Well, it's like after BVS, there was fallout from BVS. They were already in production on
Yeah,
Justice
but
League.
how much of what he did in BVS was his? Would you say?
What do you
Like
mean?
how much of that was his vision?
No,
Was it
that's his. That's
100%?
100% Zack Snyder's movie.
Well, honestly, this movie's better.
No,
So
no. In this version of Justice League is 100% his version, his vision of the movie. Clearly, it's very much in line with those other two
yeah,
movies. But like he had decided that like okay, well we'll lighten it up a little bit. That's why the movie's has a little more like heart, a little bit more softness
yeah.
to it. There's a little more
Like
humor in it.
a small spoiler when the Flash says to Bruce Wayne, well, what is your superpower? And he goes, I'm rich.
I'm
Like
rich.
that is,
Which
you
yeah, so
know,
that's also in the Whedon cut. That was a trailer moment. Like
was that in the Whedon cut? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Which people were surprised that it was Zack Snyder's line because everybody thought that was a Whedon line. So that was kind of one of the fun things about watching it was to see what Zack Snyder had and hadn't done.
There
Because
was a lot there though.
oh, dude,
There was a
I mean, like
endless amounts.
it's just people like some people were saying like, oh, it's just the same movie but longer. I was like, what are you talking about? Even the
It's
scenes that are the same feel completely different.
well, what's what
He cuts them differently. They play out differently. There's like
uh
the score is different. Everything is different about it.
I would say the scene that I can think of, there's three scenes that stand out in particular. So I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody in this part, but I would say when they fight in the sewer thing,
Yeah,
like a major part of that set piece was stayed relatively the same.
yeah, yes, yeah.
That fight, anyway, and the Superman fight
I think it
that
was just.
stayed pretty close.
I think a lot of it is just they're just longer versions of them. In this one, they're just longer. There's more shots. There's more things, and the context changes a little bit. Like
Hmm.
Whedon went in and did a lot of inserts with the Flash. Like the Flash in the Whedon cut is more of like the character who has like an arc, whereas in this one, Cyborg is really the one. It's Cyborg and the Flash that kind of have more of an arc, where they didn't really have that in the 2 hour version. Which after, well, I guess I'll just give my general what I thought of it. I think I give it like first viewing. I like an 8, like a solid 8. Could go up on rewatch. I could fall in love with this movie. It is kind of everything I had hoped it would be. In terms of like, I just wanted to see him complete his vision. Like I wanted to see that. So I'm going in expecting a Zack Snyder ass movie. That's what I was looking for. And I got a Zack Snyder ass movie where it's like it's big, it's fucking unwieldy, it's trying to balance all of these thoughtful ideas, but he's such a bro dude and he's like he just wants to make everything look cool um and I feel like I got that. Like he looks at these characters as like modern myth, they're legends, they're gods.
Yeah.
And that's how he treated them. Like this movie felt like a fantasy film. I mean, it felt like a fucking Lord of the Rings movie. It was fucking huge. It's like
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
It's so epic. Whereas like you go look at the Whedon cut and you're like, that's like a TV movie compared to this fucking thing. I mean,
Well, yeah.
this thing is like a big, slow, lumbering epic. I mean, it's like the first 2 hours.
It's set up. It's just
You
setting
feel,
it all up. Yeah.
but you feel those 2 hours. Like it's slow.
Oh yeah.
It's very slowly paced. But the last 2 hours, like whew, shit, dude. Like it just goes by so fast.
I mean, I think I like the setup in movies
Oh,
more than I
so do
even. I enjoy like learning about the characters because honestly, I'm not a big superhero guy. So besides, I know a lot about Batman and Superman the most out of in this crew.
Yeah.
Like so you get a little more exposition and I don't know. Like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say about a guy that has a vision and he is able to tie it? Like, it sucks that movies have to be 2.5 hours.
Well, it's yeah, and I think if they were to ever continue on with this, I'm like, just do this every 3 years. Just put it on HBO Max. Give me a 4 hour Justice League epic. Like make movies and put them out in theaters, and then have your big epic. But they'll never do that because they need to make $1 billion when they make a movie like this.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing that I don't understand. So with HBO Max, they're probably getting what fucking, I think I was reading earlier, it was like 30, 40 million people.
I think no, they jumped to 60
Oh,
after Christmas. Because
okay.
basically they came out and said like they're like, yeah, the thing about putting movies on HBO Max the same day they go to theaters is working out for us.
Yeah, well, I know they're projected like to have 120 million or something by 2025. I was reading.
Yeah.
AT&T owns HBO, so, and Sony. They own everything. They're fuck whatever.
Well, AT&T, well, they don't own Sony. They own Warner Brothers, Time
Or
Warner.
Warner Brothers, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But they,
AT&T is the reason why this exists.
yeah, but they're making probably, I don't know. I'm not going to do the math, but it's hundreds of millions of dollars right now.
Yeah, but they're going to take a loss for like 5 years, and they already know that.
Yeah, they may take a loss for 5 years, but if you look at Netflix, they have 202 point something million people worldwide. I think 80 or 90 or 120 million US or something like that. It's or 70, 80 million, whatever it is. They're raking in on average $8 to $10 a month.
No, 15.
Per person.
That's like the cheapest end is 15 now for Netflix.
Is that true?
Yeah, I know.
Are you sure? I'm not paying that much.
Yeah. I think you are.
I'm paying $12.99. That's what I'm paying.
Maybe. Well,
maybe I'm not.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they just upgraded and didn't tell me. I have no fucking clue. Or like, like you log in one day, you're like, whatever, and you just click through.
Well, every year it's gone up. It's gone up like every year or two.
But okay, anyways. But they're making literally $1 billion a month.
Yeah, but Netflix is also has been consistently in the red for years.
Yeah, at one point, but now they're probably got to be.
Well, because you have to establish content. You have to have the content for people to subscribe to your service, and they've realized that like, yeah, having like all the movies there is a thing, but people really will sign up because of your shows. Like, so if you create good shows, good movies, things people want to see, then that's what they're going to do, because they actually could want to get away from the model where they have to pay licensing fees to studios for their movies. They don't want to do that.
They're not like Paramount that can go launch their own service and have 500,000 movies, whatever, off the get.
I mean, HBO's the same way though. Like the leg up HBO has is like they have the entire Warner Brothers library. Like that's a big good library.
Okay. We can talk about this on the live stream because we don't want to. It's just about the Zack Snyder's cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're out of the spoilers. Spoiler zone.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into spoilers. Yeah, we'll do some spoilers and stuff, but those are our general thoughts. I really like it. I don't expect that opinion to really change. I think it is, but if you don't like what Zack Snyder was selling before, I would not expect you to like.
I still think his best movie is Watchmen. That's me. That's my favorite Zack Snyder film.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like Watchmen. Maybe 300.
I don't know who he's got. Like, I don't know how involved he is with the music in his movies, but the music in all his movies are always great. Like, no matter, like when Aquaman is walking out on the pier, he's like drinking Jack or something. He's
the Nick Cave song.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, like that's cool, man. Well, but using Tom Waits for the trailer.
Yeah, but something But something like that is a perfect illustration. That same moment is in the Whedon cut, and it's completely different.
Is it? Dude, honestly, I couldn't remember. No, but
in this version, it's like somber and slow, and Aquaman is disillusioned, and he's like fucking tired, and he doesn't want to accept his responsibility, and he's going out there. He's just living the life of a wastrel because he doesn't want to like step up.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's why I connect with it. That's me.
Well, I like Jason Momoa in this version. I thought he was great as Aquaman.
He wasn't so cheesy. He was and because that was when they made that whole like they tried to do Thor and the guy from Guardian, Star-Lord. Like like Thor and them, they have that arguing back and forth, or Thor and Iron Man. They tried to do that in the Whedon cut. It was very apparent that they tried to have. It was who was it? Was it Aquaman and Batman, or Aquaman? There was a tiff. There was Aquaman and Cyborg.
Yeah. Well, there were some one-liners that involved the two of them, like the cringiest ones.
But they're like talking shit to each other at one point. Like they're kind of like.
Well, Aquaman talked shit to everybody. He was talking shit to everybody.
Yeah, but I still like the My Man moment. I can take it.
It wasn't. I don't think it was. It wasn't.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
wasn't in there.
Yeah, it was.
He says "my man" while
Yep.
Cyborg throws him.
But it's not cheesy as because like you said, it's the same exact scene where he gets dragged up in the air by the three winged dudes.
Yeah.
And then he throws a spear, and then obviously he's falling and whatever. And then Cyborg grabs him and then, tosses him. And he's like, my man. Like, he does do it, but it's not as freaking stupid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't stick out to me. Like, it always stuck out to me in the other cut. But that whole sequence, that whole ending is so much more badass.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like a fucking great, like, set piece. Where it's got a great pace, it's got a great rhythm. It builds towards the end. It's this like epic conclusion. Superman showing back up and like, and then, but even just the beginning when Batman's like in the fucking Batmobile, like just tearing ass and like, oh, it was so like I'm not like a giant superhero fan, but I am a huge Batman fan.
Yep.
And that like, dude, it got me juiced a little. I felt like those fucking Marvel tards when they start creaming over seeing like Iron Man's shoot up in the air.
Iron Man.
Yeah. Which was a good moment. I won't take it away from them. That was a good moment.
Honestly, whatever. Didn't faze me. I watched that shit. I was like, this shit's fucking dumb. Like every other fucking movie I've seen. Everyone's like, I've been on a journey with this guy for 12 years. Like, yeah, whatever, dude. Listen, I'm sorry.
Well, like people all because somebody like was kind of like I think it was Prophet. He's like in the comments. He's like I think thinks every Marvel movie is the dumbest thing ever.
They are awful.
Watches Justice League 5 times. But like I would say this, I think, and I've said this to you before. I've said it tons of times on the podcast. I would rather watch an interesting failure. I'd rather watch somebody swing for the fucking fences
like this,
and try something, or BVS or Man of Steel. Like he swings for the fucking fences. He doesn't always connect. But that is way more interesting. Like in 50 years, people will be talking about Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League in a way that they will not talk about the 100 fucking Marvel movies that are out there. Because they're not special. They're not like a singular vision. They don't feel authored. They all feel like TV episodes.
Black Panther. What are you talking about?
Well, Black Panther. Yeah, they're going to be like, remember all the white people that made that a box office hit?
Yeah. Well, directed by a black man. So it counts. Written by a black man. So you're good.
Starring a black man.
Yeah.
About a black man.
R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. He was a good actor, actually.
He was a good actor.
But this is one of those movies, man, when I'm watching it, and I was actually kind of excited. Like I really was when I sat down to watch this movie. I was pretty excited. I checked the night before. It was like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I was like, what time is it actually coming out? And it was 4 a.m. Eastern, and I was like, it's 3 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'll just go to bed and then I'll just get up, And I got up at like 7 and I started watching it. That's the first thing I did. It came out, hit power, fucking.
That's what I did. I got some coffee. I'm like, all right, baby. And fucking my son wakes up, Foster, and he's like, well, I don't want to watch this. I'm like, you're gonna have to chill.
Yeah. You want me you will get the hose again. No, it was fun. Like it felt like an event. It kind of felt like a fight, like a big boss battle, or like you're about to watch a big UFC fight because you have the old Justice League, which you're like, it's okay, whatever. And then you have the new one, and you feel like, okay, who's going to come out on top? And this one definitely comes out on top. I think in every way. I think cinematically, I think the way the fucking bad guy looks better. I like Darkseid is in it, which is cool, which I don't really know much about him. And like it really does feel like a fantasy film, actually. Like now that I'm thinking back on it, it has a lot of fantasy elements.
Steppenwolf is an actual character. Like he actually has motivations. He's a failed demigod or whatever the fuck he is.
Or I think he tried to overtake the throne. That's what they allude to.
He did something fucked up to Darkseid, and he's like, or Darkseid, and he's like trying to get back in his good graces, and like, you have to destroy 50,000 more worlds.
And he's like, dog, I'm on the first one. Like, it's gonna take forever.
It's like, but I found the fucking mother boxes, dog.
Yeah,
I found the mother boxes.
No, but then he goes, but he found what was it, the anti-life formula,
the anti-life equation.
Equation.
Stupid comic book garbage.
What the fuck?
But that's the whole thing with that is to subjugate people and make basically turn everybody into parademons. It would give them control of Superman. I mean, to jump ahead, we get a preview of what they wanted to do with Justice League 2. Basically, was to do the Nightmare world, which that is when they're all in the dystopia.
That was like supposed to be
where
Justice League.
Superman's the villain because
Yeah.
something happens to Lois and he freaks out and he's going to, because that's like a vision. It's a premonition because of, they set it up in BVS where the Flash basically is coming back through time, which is something they tease in this movie, that the Flash is starting to learn that he can turn back time.
Yeah.
With his super speed.
Right.
So I assume that at some point in the Justice League 3 or whatever, the Flash would fucking turn back time far enough where they figure out how to beat him and then they go back in time. I imagine that's how you would end like a Justice League trilogy, having teased this time travel ability. But he does it in BVS, and you see the first vision of the Nightmare World, where Batman's he's in the duster coat and he's fighting the parademons, and Superman's the bad guy. Well, that they showed you another Flash at the end of this movie, another like vision that Bruce has because of that temporal warp that happened.
Oh, so he's actually, I
so
thought
he's
there
seeing
was nightmares and shit.
So he's seeing the future, because he says, actually, he mentions it in this. He's like, I thought it was a nightmare, but I think it was something else. Something dark is coming. And then at the end of this movie, what does Darkseid say? Or Darkseid? I can't remember. Is it Darkseid?
It's Darkseid.
Yeah. He's like, well, fuck it. We're going to do it the old fashioned way. We're just going to invade.
Yeah.
And that's where you would end up with that Nightmare World. So they would have the Nightmare World movie.
So you're saying that the Justice League 2 will be the build up to that?
No, it would have been.
I don't know. They're not making another one?
This is the problem. Like you were just saying, what is and what isn't canon? Frankly,
well, okay.
I've heard that the Flash movie is going to be used to reset the universe. Like they're basically going to take the plot element.
This works. Do this. You don't have to make a whole nother movie.
I wish they did. I wish they would. Trust me, I do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is perfect. This is great.
That train might have left the station, but that's the thing.
No,
Dan.
but hold on. Why would they have to come back? Not just for reshoots, Sean, but they shot additional content as well.
They basically shot that nightmare scene.
So why would they add that if they were not?
Oh, because
why would Warner Brothers say, okay, we'll throw another $10 million, $5 million to do this one scene that's like last 10 minutes of the movie?
Because they said he could do his movie.
Bro, that makes no sense.
No, Zack Snyder has said in interviews he's like, no, I'm pretty sure they're done with me now.
DC?
Yeah, he's like, because they asked him, like, why did you end the movie like on it's not really a cliffhanger, it's like a potential preview. Yeah, you could interpret it different ways, but like, it is kind of a cliffhanger.
Why do they not like him? What did he fucking do?
I think he was just the way. What happened between the time BVS came out and they started production on the Justice League? I think there's a lot of sour grapes there. I mean, this is what you see. What you saw was like, this is what happens when fucking studios come in and they don't have a vision. They're just looking at like, how can we maximize profits? How can we do whatever? And because these are such giant corporate fucking monster movies, like they cost so much money.
But like when you go look at movies that have a vision, they do well.
Well, that's exactly right. Like there is no world in which even like a 3-hour version of this movie is not received better or worse than the Whedon cut. The Whedon cut is a bad movie. It's just not a good movie.
It's clunky. It's not paced very well, and it doesn't have any soul
to
it.
You feel the struggle between the studio and Whedon and I'll say this. I feel bad for Joss Whedon because he came in after the fact, was hired to fix something that was unfixable. And because they were like, we need a 2-hour movie. That's all they wanted. I want a 2-hour movie. So he went in, did the reshoots he had to do to like kind of restructure the story, cut everything fucking out of it, and gave you the most bare bones version of the Justice League possible. Tried to add like other elements he thought maybe people would like because it works in Avengers movies. Like when you see like the Russian family. Do you remember the Russian family?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not in this movie at all.
Thank God.
But that
was an annoying backstory.
Yeah, that was just a Whedon thing. That's just like, because that's something you would see in a Marvel movie. And but I kind of feel bad for him because he's kind of left holding the bag for when he just kind of was hired to do a job. And and he gets totally shit on for this movie. They call it the Justice League, and I don't think it shouldn't have had
paid though.
Yeah, I'm sure he got paid pretty well to do that.
He probably got paid 10, 15 mil or some bullshit to coming in and clean it up or whatever.
Because
But
that was supposed to be basically they were like, "Hey, do this, and you can make a Batgirl movie," and he was like, "Okay." And
so
then
they're
they
making a Batgirl movie.
no, they took it away from him. Joss Whedon got canceled, buddy.
Oh yeah, because of the stuff on set of Buffy and stuff. Supposedly.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, everyone's getting canceled. Even people on the left now, they're eating their own. Teen
Yeah.
Vogue editor going gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I think people should watch this movie. Yes. I think there's even a point you could honestly watch this in 2 sittings. Like you would not have to watch it all together. So if you were like, hey, I'm gonna watch the 2 hours tonight and then I'll finish the second half tomorrow. Like you could realistically do that.
I think once like the scene in the sewer, once that's over and Aquaman shows up, you could take a break there.
Yeah.
Which is about, I think it's about 2 hours into the movie.
I think people should watch it. And the thing is in my, like I was reading some of the reviews and I was pretty disappointed is like why people did not like, because I don't know what's going on in Metacritic. I have no fucking clue what's going on with these people. They're so disconnected because you look at the people score, whatever that is, user score.
Yeah.
User score is like 8.8, 8.9. Like on all Rotten Tomatoes, like it's certified fresh from the users. Or not certified, but fresh. People like the movie. And then all of a sudden, the fucking critics, it's like 50, like overall. Well, and you start reading it, but it's like all these movies are, all the people that are reviewing them are like a bunch of nobodies. How do you get fucking, like, this is the thing that makes no fucking sense about Metacritic. Like, how the fucking, all these, like, you just have 50, 60 people come review a movie, and they're all like of one ideological perspective. And they just all think the same.
That's the problem with film criticism right now in general. It's not very diverse.
But a lot of the user score, though.
There are some people that, I mean, the user score, it can be gamed. So there's a lot of people that are very emotionally invested in this movie being people like getting good reviews and stuff. Because it was a big fan campaign to make it happen in the first place. And
I just can't believe
that's why it exists, because it's fucking 4 years of people like flying banners and doing things in Times Square and constantly doing hashtag campaigns and sending letters to Warner Brothers and blah blah blah. But they're reacting a lot of times because there's and it happened when they announced it. They're like, oh, you're rewarding toxic fans, like toxic fan behavior, because for years everybody was like, there is no Snyder Cut. That's what like the critic consensus was. If you were like a professional in the industry, you're like, there is no Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut doesn't exist. And then even when they fucking announce it, they say, well, he needs all this money to finish it. There was no cut. It's like, dude, he obviously had an assembly cut. Like they didn't have the VFX done clearly. Yeah. And some of the VFX, even in this version, are a little rough. They're actually not up to par to what you would expect a movie like this to be, but that's because they did limited budget.
The scene that got me that I think it was very noticeable was when the box and the Amazonians are, and like you're seeing like the everything. It's like really just, which I'm sure they were on time or like not, like you said, not a very big budget for that. But I guarantee you, most of this stuff probably went to VFX. Like
I think of the money. No, a lot of it did. I know most of it did. Because I know that he had a score. Junkie XL had already done that score because that's a completely different score than the theatrical one. Theatrical one, Danny Elfman came in and sampled. Classic. And but all he did was sample. He sampled like the Batman '89 one that he wrote. He sampled the Donner Superman thing, and then he used stuff from BVS, the Hans Zimmer like Wonder Woman guitar.
Dude, that's still the best. That is the best.
That's awesome. It rips, dude.
When she, that is one of the great scene where Wonder Woman is the first time you get introduced to her as Wonder Woman, and she goes into the bank or whatever, and that shit still looks so good when she's like blocking all the bullets, and the way it looks so much better than the way she looked in the new Wonder Woman, for example. Like it looked so awesome. Like she felt badass.
Because those effects were done. Because that scene, there's a version of that's in the theatrical cut, and this is another prime example of like when you actually have like a director who has a vision and he's not trying to cut the movie down to its barest. That scene was fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's
I mean, and
badass.
the bad guys are like really evil fuckers too. Like they're
Yeah,
just there to kill people.
yeah, they're literally like, we're
They're
have
like
you
part of
ever
a
seen the
cult.
movie? Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club? Yeah, we're restarting UK society, I guess. Like
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. They're like, yeah, we're
Well,
just gonna
yeah, we want to
what we're gonna do.
take society back like 200 years or something.
Yeah, but you're just like only in the UK. Like, what do you what?
And like,
Like, do
dude,
you
like,
honestly though? I will say this thing about the movie: there is some really dumb fucking premises. Like when you really think about some of this
yes,
shit, you're
of
like,
course, yeah, it's really
you know,
dumb comic book shit. Yeah,
yeah, but you're just like, because some moments are so good. One moment that really irritated me. It irritated me a little bit. So, fucking Flash at the dog place, and he moves, right? And he go because like that chick, they're looking at each other, whatever. She gets in the car accident, he has to go save her. His shoes explode, which makes sense, right?
yeah,
Like all of his clothes should have exploded off.
yeah. If
Like
this
that would
movie
have
had
been,
any balls,
yeah,
yeah,
no, but like
it would have been all ball.
cover like a hot dog over his dick. It could have been funny, right? Like that would have been good humor. That would have been funny if they would have because it hit a hot dog stand.
Doing an Austin Powers joke.
No, I mean, but like I don't know if you, but like that would have made just that much more detail. Would have just impressed me because I'm like, oh, the shoes exploded. But I'm like, this motherfucker's wearing blue jeans, Levi's, in a sweatshirt,
Oh,
and
yeah.
also because like it doesn't make sense when he's moving in that scene, his clothes are getting blown in the wind, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. Like only his body can handle that movement. The
Yeah,
clothes
well,
would
they
just
make a
scatter.
point. They make a point. Bruce Wayne literally points out his
Yeah,
suit
I
is
know.
made of the NASA stuff,
Yeah, the going to space, you can heat
so
and
he
friction and
doesn't
whatever.
burn up on reentry. Yeah,
Right. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this whole movie's fucking bullshit, dude.
this movie
And
is
not to
fake.
mention, so you're gonna tell me that this guy's fucking suit is built to withstand re-entry into the atmosphere, but he can go to the fucking speed of light?
Yeah.
Like you would just like you're nothing that it's you're fucking done, dude. You're done.
You
And
gotta
not to
let some things
mention,
go. You
they
gotta let
never
some things
never
go.
explained that, like, dude, like once you go like to the speed of light, the reason why we cannot go to the speed of light is because like mass is so heavy, you become so heavy. So he should be stronger than like anybody. Because he should be able to fucking move some shit. If you can move yourself up to the speed of light, because things get heavier the faster they go. Like you should be able to fuck up fucking Superman.
Some things you just gotta let go. Well, he does. He's able to. He's able to at least shove Superman.
Well, not I mean kind of dodge him. I would say it's more of a dodge, more of a brush off, like get away.
Oh, even
Move.
that scene is so much better. Like when they bring Superman back to life, which is
Yes,
the
yeah.
first time. The first
And
time
it
that they.
makes sense why Lois is there all of a sudden.
I
Like
know,
it
right?
makes fucking sense. I was sitting there, I was like, because I remember watching the server, like, what Bruce just had her hanging out in the fucking Bat Cave, like the Batwing or whatever, just fucking on standby, like,
Yeah.
because he knew. Because at least it doesn't make because the whole point of Batman, if you actually look at like the history, like I used to work with a guy who's really big into comic books. He told me this, but like Batman has a database, and it's actually used in the later comic books, I guess, like in Civil War or whatever. Batman had a way to defeat every superhero. Like a way to, like, he had a database, like he knew all their weaknesses. And I know in the comic book, someone gets a hold of it and then, whatever. And they systematically go after everybody.
Yeah.
So at least it would make, in my mind, watching the original cut, I was like, oh, well, Batman would be probably prepared. Like that's what he's known for, being like a super genius, like guy. So
I mean, that's what like people's like criticisms of BVS, like, well, Batman would like hate Superman. But, like he wouldn't trust him. Why would he? Like, what are you talking about? That's Batman's whole thing is
he got caught up in the propaganda.
I mean, he's like he's jaded and he's cynical and he's upset. He's in a place
in this fucking movie.
Well, in BVS, he's in a bad place because he's been doing this for 20 years and the world still is shit. And he's lost everyone he's ever cared about, and it's cost him a lot. Gotham still sucks. And he's just like, what the fuck? And now there's this dude who can literally level cities with his fucking eyes. Yeah. And he says, he's like, this is my legacy. He's like, if I could stop this, like, then all this has been worth it. Like, that's how he feels. And then when Superman makes his great sacrifice, he's like, okay, well, maybe he's a good guy. His mom's name is Martha.
Yeah. Martha. Why'd you say that name? Are you saying he's just like punching the shit out of him? I don't know. Give the guy a chance to talk, man.
It's one of those things that makes sense on paper, and then but in execution, you're like, sounds goofy.
Well, I mean, it's also just happenstance that both mothers are Martha.
Well,
so
but on paper, it's like, oh, this is how Batman realizes Superman's humanity, because he's like, it makes him realize, like, oh, he has a mother. This gives him an opportunity to stop Superman from going down a dark path if he can save Martha. Like, the movie doesn't do a great job of telling you that, but that's what's going on.
And another thing about this is both Whedon cut and Snyder cut. Dumbest fucking line in the movie, probably. This fucking so stupid. Hey, they're obviously Martha Kent gets her home back and everything, and Clark says to Bruce, he goes, "Oh, like how did you do this?" He goes, "I bought the bank." And I'm like, "Why would you buy the bank? Why don't you just buy the fucking house, put her name in it? What are you talking about? You bought the bank? What are you you're an asshole. That's what you are. You're a no. I didn't buy the house. I bought the fucking bank, and then I made my employees suffer, and I fired 500 people to pay for your."
Yeah, I was watching that too. And I was like, why didn't he just buy the farm?
Just buy the fucking house.
Maybe he was just being cheap.
How much was it? Probably, let's say like modern times, $500,000-$600,000 maybe. I don't know, but they probably bought that house for fucking nothing. And I'm sitting there. Clark's what, 35, 40 years old, probably at least.
Clark is, I think it's like 33, 35.
They probably bought that house fucking in if we're talking about modern times, probably in the 90s, 80s, 90s.
Well, the Kent's had it. Yeah, it's the Kent's house. I think it's their family. It's their family. It's the Kent farm. Yeah.
How is it not paid off? What is going on here?
You know what's going on with farmers in this country over the past 50 years, Dan?
Not if you're a black farmer. They'll give you fucking free shit.
You think they're making money hand over fist, these farmers?
Well, I'm not saying hand over fist, but Jesus Christ, man.
What if they had to mortgage the farm because they needed to buy equipment? Like, what if something breaks?
They had a couple bad seasons, so some droughts and shit. Exactly. They had irrigation equipment. Yeah. I see.
Although you think once Clark was on the scene, like, you wouldn't really have to worry about those things.
That's what I was told. I was like, you're gonna tell me Clark Kent, Superman, hasn't beat up a fucking few bad guys that have some money?
Can you imagine, like, teenage Clark comes home from school, his dad's like over by the kitchen sink, and he's like grabbing his back. He's like, just really taking the toll. Clark's like, that sucks, Dad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
No, but I also liked all the stuff with Cyborg. I thought it was good. Like, he's actually a character.
Really enjoyable. Yeah,
I really love the stuff with his dad, and they actually set up kind of this deeper layer to the universe that's going on and what's going on behind the scenes, and them investigating this alien tech and trying to figure it out. And I thought that stuff was actually pretty interesting. And it seems like, and they tease that it's going to be something, and they tease that they're going to do something with the future, which obviously I don't know, if that's ever going to happen, obviously.
Well, at least Snyder got to go out the way he wanted to, I guess, with that's cool.
No, it's a cool thing, just especially because of the circumstances by which he had to leave the project. Like, his daughter committed suicide, and the studio, like, isn't that so fucking slimy? Like, the studio was like, yeah, sorry, Zach. Oh, if you gotta go, you gotta go, but we're gonna put this thing out.
Well, I'm to it, and like the schedules and
give him a month,
everything.
Give him a month.
I don't think Zack Snyder thought anything less of them doing that. Personally, it's business. These guys are investing $250 million into a fucking movie. But
Zack Snyder had done good for them for years. Like, Zack Snyder's been working with Warner Brothers since the mid 2000s, 300 to all the way here, and he gets completely fucked over because they got cold feet. Understandably, I suppose BVS gave them cold feet because critics did not like BVS. One of the reasons critics don't like BVS is because it didn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Why do they care what the critics say? Does it make you fucking money? Look at Transformers. There's no way Transformers 4, 5, and 6 even got good ratings.
But the online chatter is not the same. Like, the audience that were to go see BVS was completely soured by the way the internet works nowadays. The
Yeah,
Transformers, everybody expects those to be bad. Nobody cares.
when are we gonna stop using the internet for fucking like deciding everything?
No, because that's how people. If you're a fan, you go to movies or whatever. People go check reviews and stuff. If you're like say our brother Ryan. Ryan's like a guy who goes checks Rotten Tomatoes, see if it's worth his time.
Well, depending on what it is, but if it's like, you know, you're gonna tell me that this movie could have got a fucking 0, people would still go see it. It would still make money.
If BVS had gotten like a 70 or an 80, that movie makes a ton of money. I'm not saying like right or wrong. People have a right to not like it, but a lot of times the reactions to BVS all had to do with the fact that like Marvel just got it right. These people are trying to do this grim, dark, serious bullshit. Like we don't want that. We want our superheroes to be uplifting.
And then you see the Joker. Like the Joker makes a fucking $1 billion or whatever.
Well, yes, because it reviewed well. People were interested. Joaquin Phoenix given like a big.
I'm telling you, man. I think that was a fucking psyop. Because I don't know if you saw what happened this summer. Pretty damn close.
What?
The end of Joker?
Oh yeah.
When they all like
predictive programming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Programmed people to be.
They also put Waco out on Netflix, and
just saying.
I don't know about you. I'm radicalized. I'm radicalized. But
that David Koresh guy was all right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just
I think
if people had like say this movie comes out, this Justice League is actually that more uplifting, upbeat, kind of gives you those fist pump moments of heroism and loyalty and duty and responsibility and actually acting as a hero in the way that those other movies didn't. Because you have Man of Steel where he's trying to find his way, doesn't really know what the fuck is going on. Clark Kent's trying to do that. Then you have BVS where it's like a very cynical asshole Batman. And then Clark Kent trying to figure out whether or not he actually has to be a hero because he has superpowers. He has to like kind of come to terms with that. Yeah. And then in this one though, you get like a full circle with all that stuff where it's like, no, we are heroes. We're the best. We're the best of the best. And nobody is going to be able to do this except us. So we got to step up. And that's a cool thing. That is more, I think, what people wanted out of this, like on a very superficial level.
Well, I think Warner Brothers and DC, they will not be successful until you need a coordinator, and I think Zack Snyder could have been the who was the dude? What was it? Joss Whedon and the other guy, the famous guy in Marvel.
The Marvel guy, Kevin Feige.
Yeah, Kevin Feige, isn't that
Feige or Feige? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So Kevin Feige, you need a guy that have that kind of control and like you said, vision of where the series wants to go and what it wants to be.
Yeah,
DC has never had that. Well, and they try to play catch up, which is wrong.
What DC fucked up by trying to rush to a Justice League movie because that precipitated. You
could have milked the fuck out of this.
Like BVS is really the third movie. It should not have been the second movie in a franchise. Like it should have been like Man of Steel, and then maybe do Man of Steel 2 where you kind of introduce Batman, and then you do BVS, and then you do a Flash movie, and then you do Justice League.
I think they should just do what they did with have a Batman standalone film, have a fucking Superman standalone film, have a Flash standalone film where maybe they may interact. And no, I know, but they rushed it because this is the thing. The Avengers ended. And that was a big climate. I didn't even really like the movies, but I was like, you know what? I've been on this journey. I'm going to see it through. Yeah. I'm going to go see this movie because I've seen all these movies. The first movie I saw in the military was Avengers. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's a lie. It was Dark Knight. It was The Dark Knight. I think we went to see the Avengers before.
There's no way it was The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight came out when I lived in Alaska.
The Dark Knight Rises, then maybe.
Yeah,
it was 2012.
May 1st, Rises then. Yeah,
May 1st, 2012. But that's when I went in. I just remember those were the first movies I really saw. But I had been there since Iron Man all the way through. If they would have just slow rolled it, and then they would have had a whole nother series that all these comic book fans they could now attach themselves to, and drive a whole other 10-15 years. Like they didn't do that.
They needed like 4 movies before a Justice League movie came out.
No,
they needed to establish the characters that were going to be in Justice League. in their own movies,
exactly.
except for maybe you could have done Cyborg in the Justice League movie. Only
like this. Yeah.
kind of like you could have done this because that ends up working in with the mother boxes and the alien tech
Yeah.
and stuff. So you
Yeah.
could have still done
Perfect.
that. But like, yeah, but they definitely rushed it. But part of that was because they were constantly in a state of defensive reactionary mode because Man of Steel, like that's like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, slightly underperforms, doesn't make $2 billion like they wanted to. So they're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Okay, well, we're not doing Man of Steel 2 anymore. Can we put Batman in a movie? Can we do a Batman movie? They're like, well, we don't want to do a Batman movie. Well, can we do a Batman and Superman movie? Like, that's a big event. That'll get people to the theaters. Then that doesn't do as well as they wanted to, and then it just snowballs from there.
Yeah, well, they should have fucking just stuck by their gun. Like, there's no conviction. There's no, you know what, man, this didn't work out. Like, but it's okay. We believe in the vision. It's all about gratification. Like, and this is the one thing that they've done smartly. You know, like you said, with HBO Max, they're going to be in the hole for the next, 5-6 years or whatever. But it's smart because you're investing in your company. You're investing in yourself. You're like, we believe in this platform, and we think it will work.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't willing to do that and do that with Zack Snyder. If Zack Snyder could have created a darker universe and like a darker, like more gritty, like it could have been really cool. Could have been fun.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think, yeah, because that's when they originally pitched the DCEU. It was supposed to be like the opposite of the MCU, where they were going to be more grounded, a little darker stories. And then, but they were also, one of the mandates they had was like, we want director-driven movies. So Zack Snyder was doing his stuff. They hired James Wan to do Aquaman. They're like, we want a James Wan Aquaman. We want, Zack Snyder Batman stuff. We want a Ben Affleck Batman movie. Like, we want those. We want your director's stamp on these stories because we don't want them all to feel the same.
And Ben Affleck's not doing that anymore.
No, he's not.
Honestly, I don't care. He's a fucking SJW. Fuck him.
Listen, he's a great Batman. He's a great Bruce Wayne.
I mean, he's pretty good. I won't like say he's not. I think he's good.
There's the last scene in the movie with Martian Manhunter comes down to talk to him. He must have shot that like a month ago. He's super skinny. Have you seen like recent pictures of Ben Affleck? He's very skinny because he's doing a movie in Boston right now about being like a bar guy or something. Guy who goes to a bar, but he's super skinny. And then I was watching this, and I was like, holy shit, he's
That's
skinny.
why they had him in like super baggy ass pants and shirt.
Yeah.
Probably put some shit under there,
Yeah.
Like to fucking fill him out.
I bet you Ben Affleck is so happy though. He doesn't have to. He's like, dude, I know he hated getting in shape like that. He hated it.
You think?
Dude, BVS, he is like a fucking monster.
Dude, he's huge.
He's fucking huge. Like when you see him doing the workout, like when he's getting ready to fight Superman.
Yeah,
it's
he's
fucking
like
ridiculous.
Yeah. The sledgehammer scene, you're like, yeah, he's ripped.
Yeah,
we get it, guys. Ben Affleck, like, but if you work that hard, you gotta have your like.
I'd want that. I'd be like, I want every scene, no shirt. I want every scene. I need to be lifting weights.
But you're Batman. No. All right, but hey, man, go check it out. That's my thing. That's what I say.
Yeah, I would say definitely. If you are a fan, you gotta go. You gotta see it. I think even if you're just curious, it's worth checking out. It's long. It's 4 hours, but like Dan said,
rainy day movie, dude. It's the best.
Oh yeah, but it's very easy. It would be an easy movie to break up over 2 or 3 nights if you really wanted to.
You could do it too. That'd be fair.
Honestly, like this would have played great as a miniseries. I'm glad that I didn't have to wait like 4 weeks and get an hour a week. I'm very happy about that. But it would have worked. It would have worked in that format, especially considering how like slowly paced the first half is. Because it's all build up, it's all character introductions, and he takes his fucking time. Every character gets a beautiful introduction with their like own song. Even Lois Lane gets like a really nice, sweet introduction. Yeah. Like he's like, man, these are all heroes. And I think he also was like, this is the last time I'm going to be able to do this, and I'm going to lay it on thick. And he did. And he did. And I like that. I like it.
I wish they would have just let him do it. Justice League 2 and 3 at the same time, back to back.
I think that's what they were going to do. That was the original plan.
Ah, dude, they just fucked up, man. They fucked up. They fucked like, and maybe honestly, Zack Snyder's kind of a pussy, so like it wouldn't surprise me.
He's not a pussy. What are you talking about? Zack Snyder.
He's a big old pussy, dude.
Karate chop you.
Fucking daughter dies. He has to drop out of the movie. Now,
I mean, come on.
Come on, man. No, that's awful. But
Oh,
it's
what is it like to have a job, Zach? Huh?
yeah, it's awful.
Fucking. Some people wish they could have a daughter kill themselves and work on a superhero movie. Some people dream of that life, Zach.
I don't know. Did you not see the film? We can talk about it later, but did you see the Geeks and Gamers thing?
Yes, I did.
It wasn't even that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's a little blown, but everybody's blown it way out of proportion. But
well, they make it seem like Geeks and Gamers, like he had to do it for legal reasons, for like the foundation or whatever.
Yes,
that's what it was.
If people are these are people that were involved, and they're called the Fandom Menace. They call themselves. There's a channel company called Geeks and Gamers that has gotten very big over the past few years. They're heavily involved in the release the Snyder Cut stuff. Very supportive of Zack Snyder. Raised a ton of money for suicide awareness and prevention.
It was for his foundation or whatever.
For his foundation, the night Zack Snyder slagged them off on a live stream, they had already raised $50,000 like that day or something. Like it was.
Yeah, well, I think they raised 80 or something. But like, as far as I know, from what I heard and was reading about it from trying to find unbiased sources, Zack Snyder, like there was something to do with on the foundation, they had the Geeks and Gamers logo, and that's not legal for whatever reason. And so they didn't get it removed for some reason. It was supposed to be removed. Geeks and Gamers were aware of it, but they just didn't know that he was going to say that. Yeah, but so it kind of took them by surprise.
Yes, because he actually said it without, I think, knowing who some of those people were. Some of those people work for Geeks and Gamers that were in the chat.
I think most of them did. I think all of them did.
It was two of them. It was two of them were the guys that actually were involved with Geeks and Gamers specifically. The rest of them were guest panel.
Well, like Uriah, whatever that dude. No, he worked there.
Uka, whatever his name is.
Yeah, like he's super lefty dude. He works for Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, and this Ryan guy was another one.
Yeah, but
I'm very disconnected from this sphere.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong.
I thought it was all, but you're probably right. But it was cool. It was really amazing. Like they didn't freak out. They were professional.
Zack Snyder's there. They're not gonna fuck that up. But
I mean,
because they could have, because everybody afterwards freaked out, and they did these long 12-hour streams, be like, "This is fucking scumbag." What's that guy? That the black dude that goes on Timcast sometimes? Ripa.
The black dude that goes on Timcast.
He's like Ripa 769.
Oh, you're talking fucking yeah.
Dude, I right before we got on, I was just having a smoke, and I was just looking at YouTube videos I saw he was on, and he was talking about this. So I scrolled back to the beginning. He's like Zack Snyder is a two-faced snake motherfucker. He's like, we don't do that where I'm from. I was like,
I like Ripa, dude. He's cool.
No,
he's cool
fun.
People.
But no, apparently
he sings metal too. He's
apparently
a death metal singer. You didn't know?
That makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah.
Apparently,
apparently,
Warner Brothers.
They made him
was mad at Zack Snyder, and a lot of this had to do with online shit, where these people that work for outlets, critic outlets, they're all
Slate.
They're all spamming
Gizmodo.
They're all spamming fucking slash film. They're all spamming the representatives of Warner Brothers, saying that they're involved with a hate group.
Yeah.
Which is basically these people just talk shit about nerd stuff all day. This is what they do.
They do shit on the anti-woke or the woke culture shit.
Yes,
they do. That's what really where they got their fame.
That's why they're so big. Yes, that's why.
You know what though? They're pretty objective, I think, for the most part. You should go listen to Geeks and Gamers. The main guy, I think his name is Joe or whatever. He put out a video and he goes, "Listen, man," he goes, "I have no problem with what Zack Snyder said. I think it took us all by surprise, but I'm really proud of the team and how they reacted, and they didn't, let it get to them, and they went in about their business." It was business.
Well, they had forewarning that it could be brought up because the logo is still on the charity page, and they were expecting that.
They knew that it was not supposed to be there, so they didn't know he was going to say that there.
Yeah. But Zack Snyder also, in the same sentence, basically, without taking a breath, he brought up about anti-Asian stuff. Basically, and it made it sound like he was implying that they were a hate group.
I don't know if he meant to do that or not. I
don't know if he meant. I don't know if he meant to do that or not.
I
I
think
have no
he was
idea.
reading something from a piece of paper, and then he stopped, and then his mind just went, okay. And I also want to say this, like,
Yeah, because he's a scatterbrained dude. If you watch interviews with him, he's like, it's really hard for him to like get out like what he's talking about.
almost like his movies.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But
anyway.
yeah, I don't know. And they were all like, I mean, that gave them some good content. They got to make a little money off that drama for the night.
Good for them, but like, good for them.
Well, somebody brought up a really good point. They're like, I think it was credit to him is that Jeremy from The Quartering. He was like, he's like, don't fucking do this. He's like, do you want to get people like Zack Snyder to come and talk to you? Don't fucking freak out like this. What are you doing? You guys are fucking drama queens, and you're showing why you guys, nobody wants to have anything to do with you.
Oh, so the Geeks and Gamers people freaked out?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that guy, the head guy, I think his name is also Jeremy. Mm-hmm. They all did like a 12-hour live stream like after it happened. They were on for hours. And they apparently they were talking some major shit, revealing personal behind the scenes stuff, but with Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers and all this stuff. They're like, and as a couple people I watched videos because I saw some clips. I didn't watch the whole thing. And somebody's like, you should unlist that fucking video. Like, you guys have crossed the line. You got to stop. And that's kind of what the Quartering guy was also saying. He's like, why are you doing this? Zack Snyder literally says he's like, he watches all the YouTube videos about Snyderverse, Snyder Cut stuff. He's been watching it for years. That's why he does interviews with people. He knows who they are, and he knows who likes him. So he goes on the channels that are friendly to him, and he talks to them because he actually knows who they are. He's actually plugged in.
Zach, we like you.
Exactly. Like you, Zack Snyder. Now that you've obviously
an hour,
you've obviously got to the end of this, and I love you, buddy.
Just name it. We love Zack Snyder and the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. That's what you said.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah. Hey, Zach.
Call, buddy. Give me a call, buddy. I'll be back.
Yeah. Give me 6 months. I'll be in shape.
Yeah, dude. Like good. I could probably do a Ben.
How about a really grounded Batman, just out of shape, just losing his
exactly. The real cynical, really at the bottom of rock bottom rather.
How about a Batman interpreter, or what is it called? Impersonator.
Oh yeah, I could be one. He could have to save me in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he could say, "I'm not wearing hockey pants."
Hockey pants. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
What's the difference between you and us? I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah, it's the greatest one line. See, but that's funny. Okay. Anyway, we got to go do a live stream, and we can't run too long tonight. So.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Check us out on D Live, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Bunch of links in the description. Yada, yada, yada. You know it. I know it. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.